Yes guys, back again with another video, and today we've got an interesting team away style question. We've got, in the expansion 1 plus x to the n, coefficients of 3 consecutive terms are in the ratio, consecutive terms are in the ratio 1 to 2 to 3. Now, what we need to do is find the value of n. So immediately you probably think, alright, if you write out the terms, we've got 1, n, x, n minus 1 over 2 factorial x squared, and so on and so forth. But why does that not work? Well, if we put in n as 2, this term here will be 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So we'll have the terms 1 to 1. So we have the coefficients 1 to 1, and that's obviously not in the ratio 1 to 2 to 3. So instead, let's relook at our 1 plus x to the n, and notice that we can use the general terms in the binomial expansion to solve this more generally. You'll see what I mean. So the first coefficient, well actually before we even start, any term in this expansion will be in the form n choose r then x to the r. So all we need to do is consider a few coefficients. So let's start off with n choose r minus 1 over n choose r. So we've just picked up 2 consecutive terms, and that would be equal to, well, if we're just looking at the first 2 terms of the expansion, of the ratio, then we just have 1 over 2. 1 over 2. We then have n factorial if we start to use the combination formula. Combination formula. We have n factorial over r minus 1 factorial for n minus r plus 1 factorial equals 1 over 2 all over n factorial over r factorial over n minus r factorial. Now, let's start simplifying. Cancel. We'll have 1 over r minus 1 factorial over 1 over r factorial, which is r. N minus r plus 1 factorial divided by 1 over n minus r plus 1 divided by 1 over n minus r factorial is n minus r plus 1, and that equals a half. So from here we get 2r equals n minus r plus 1, 3r minus n would equal 1. Cool. So we've got one equation. Now obviously we're tempted to use the second part of our ratio, 2 to 3, to get another simultaneous equation. So let's just do that. So this time we've got n choose r, and its next term, which would be n choose r plus 1, which equals 2/3. If we simplify this, just going to do this in my head, we'll get r plus 1 over n, which equals 2/3. Cross multiply, we get 3r plus 3, which equals 2n, hold on a minute, this should be n minus 1, 2n minus 2r, and then that should rearrange to give us 5r minus 2n equals minus 3. Perfect. Now we've got 2 simultaneous equations in terms of r and n, and we want, what do we want? We want r, right? So let's rearrange this for n equals 3r minus 1. Chuck that in there, 5r minus 2, 3r minus 1 equals minus 3, 5r minus 6r plus 2 equals minus 3, r would equal 5. And then if you just chuck that back into here, we have n equals 3 times 5 minus 1, which equals 14. Nice fun trick we used, using the coefficients. Nice and easy, job done. Goodbye.